Hey everyone, and welcome back to the channel. So, you've probably heard of Kubernetes, right? It's everywhere in the world of tech and software development. But let's be honest, diving into its architecture can sometimes feel, well, a little overwhelming. Like you need a secret decoder ring just to understand what's going on. We can mainly divide the architecture into two big sections. First, you have the control plane. You can think of this as the brain of your Kubernetes cluster. It's where all the important decisions are made, where the system manages your applications, and basically controls everything that happens in the cluster. In older terms, this was sometimes called the master node. Second, you have the data plane. If the control plane is the brain, the data plane is the muscle. These are the worker nodes, the machines where your actual application containers live and run, doing the heavy lifting to serve your users. Let's zoom into the control plane, the brain. What makes it tick? First up, the API server. This is like the main entrance or the receptionist for your entire cluster. When you, as a developer, want to tell Kubernetes to do something. Next, we have the scheduler. Once the API server gets a request to, say, create a new pod, we'll talk about pods in a bit, they're like the smallest units in Kubernetes. The scheduler's job is to decide where that pod should run. Then there's ect. This is a distributed database, and it's crucial. Think of ect as the memory of your Kubernetes cluster. Meet the controller manager. This component is like the watchman constantly observing the cluster. It makes sure that the current state of the cluster matches the desired state you've defined. Finally, the Cloud Controller Manager, CCM. This one is special and only really comes into play when you're running your Kubernetes cluster in the cloud, on platforms like AWS, Azure, Google Cloud, etc. Now, let's shift over to the data plane, the muscle, the worker nodes. This is where your actual application containers are doing their job. On each worker node, you'll find a few key components. The kubelet. This is like an agent or a representative that runs on every single worker node. The kubelet talks to the API server, remember our receptionist? Next is the container runtime. This is absolutely essential. The container runtime is the software that is responsible for actually running the containers. Think of it like the engine that powers your containers. And lastly, the kube-proxy. This component is like the traffic cop for networking within the cluster. It runs on each node and makes sure that network communication flows correctly. All these components on the control plane and data plane work together to manage Kubernetes objects. These are the building blocks you define, things like pods, your container wrappers, deployments, how you manage updates and scaling of your app, replica sets, ensuring a specific number of pods are running, services, how you expose your application for network access, and many more. These objects are what bring your applications to life within the cluster, and the architecture components manage them based on your desired state. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.